Hi, Hilda. Thanks so much for being here. So the Clean Environment Commission report has documented multiple incidents of abuse dating back decades. What was most shocking to you in this report?
Actually, nothing was shocking to me in this report because Indigenous women and girls have been continuously violated in various energy projects, and they've been reporting it for decades. But what I think is so unfortunate is, why have their voices not been heard? Why does it take a commission or an inquiry to do a report to say, hey, this is true? What about the voices of Indigenous women and girls? Like, why is nobody listening to us?
I mean, through your work with Manitoba Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and through MKO, what are some of the other stories that you've heard about man camps like these? Not specific to hydro, but the other man camps that you've heard these stories from.
Well, I've heard like personal stories from survivors, and of course I'll maintain their confidentiality.
Right.
Some have tried to disclose and felt that they weren't supported or no one believed them, or just by how they were treated when they did try to report incidents, that they weren't supported. And if a woman has been sexually violated, and it's really critical on how she's treated within the first 24 hours of being violated, on how she will proceed. If she feels that she's not supported, then it's very difficult to move forward and report incidents, especially if you haven't been supported.
Right, and I mean, in many of these communities, they don't have the, or I'll ask you, do they have the programming, do they have the places for these women to go to get this treatment that they need immediately following incidents like that?
I actually think that that's a very good question, because Indigenous women and girls and advocates and Indigenous organizations have clearly identified the needs and the resources for Indigenous women and girls who have experienced violence, but also who, for protection. And it seems like all these recommendations and asks are falling on deaf ears.
Is it possible that there are MMIW unsolved cases connected to these sort of camps, be it hydro, pipelines, logging, mining? Through your work, what do you think?
I think I would say yes, there definitely is a high probability of that. There's definite linkages, when our land is being violated in many circumstances. Along with our land being violated, our women are being violated as well. And I know that the Manitoba Keewatinowi Okimakanak Grand Chief Garrison Settee has made it clear that anybody who is going to be doing any type of resource development within the MKO territory will, he will ensure that Indigenous women and girls, their lives and that they're safe, that they're protected with any future development that occurs in the MKO territory.
How widespread do you think these types of abuses are? I mean, a lot of people were shocked to hear these revelations coming out of Manitoba with regards to the hydro workers. How widespread do you think these types of abuses are in worker camps elsewhere in Canada?
I've been an advocate on the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, as well as an advocate on bringing awareness to the high levels of violence experienced by Indigenous women and girls. And I've met several of my fellow advocates across the country, and it's very prevalent in other camps that are taking place across the country with various types of development.
Do we need to have an inquiry into this as well, or what's the answer? What should the response be?
I don't think there needs to be an inquiry into this. There needs to be action.
I found something on the web about it.
That's just my Siri going off.
Okay.
I think there needs to be immediate action. It's like we always need an inquiry, and while these inquiries are going on, our women and girls are continuously being violated or they're dying. It's to the point where it's critical. We need action. We need governments to step up and adequately fund the protection of Indigenous women and girls. And when I say protection, I mean access to affordable housing, access to quality education, access to childcare, access to economic opportunities, all these things that will strengthen them and protect them, and a secure future as well.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this. I'm sure this isn't the last we'll be hearing about this.
Yeah, thank you so much.